Alright, so this is my 6th week summary over Module 7. We started off this week with the learning objectives as we do every week. I responded to the article you posted. That was pretty interesting. I read it last week. I know it was hard to read because it kept getting cut off by some other stuff, but I read it to the best that I could. After that, we had to finish our papers, which I finished just a little bit ago and posted on the page with a little summary of what my paper was over. And then we were to respond about the dialogue from Enrage or Engage Me from last module. And we were to research and share about hacking hardware. And then we were to get started on our final Arduino project. And so I kind of made a PowerPoint this time to make it easier. So I thought the 15th, because it was just one project, it was probably going to be pretty quick and pretty easy, but it wasn't. I spent a lot of time trying to figure this out. I hooked up the easy stuff. I got the easy part out of the way and set up the program, and I thought to use an old cell phone. I didn't read what you had written, and I destroyed one of my old cell phones just for this, and I got under the button so I could get to the parts, and I was trying to just get it to turn on. I couldn't get a recording. I was just going to try to get it to turn on by the buttons. And I set it up and attached everything together, and it didn't work, and I destroyed a phone for no reason. But I was going out of town, so I didn't have a lot of time. I went to Houston this weekend for the 4th of July, and so I went to an aquarium, and that's a picture of a shark that I took, and a picture of some fishes. And then to kind of make up for me not being able to do that one project, I went to the Natural Science Museum of Houston. Here's a picture of me at the museum, just so it's proof and not just claiming I went there. And then they had all the elements. I thought it was kind of cool. They gave you examples of what each of the elements were. Like, what's an interesting one? Whatever BI was, I had like Pepto Bismol. I was like, I had no clue it had like a certain element or whatever. Anyway, yeah, and then this was just showing how acid rain wears down more than just pure water on rock, and that's why rocks get that they have their texture and everything. And then they had a big pendulum that was coming around, and it knocked stuff down. The ball's right there, and it knocked down each one as it went around. And then this kind of reminded me of one of our our culture science things that we read from weeks before, so I thought it was interesting. And then kind of having to do with my paper, it was different types of oil and found in different parts of the world. As I mentioned in my pros and cons paper, is oil is a fossil fuel or is not, after reading my essay. And so, like, the first one was like crude oil samples, like from different, yeah, see, it just says exactly what I wrote. And so, like, the first one, you twist this knob and then it would make the oil fall, and so you see how quickly it goes through. You can kind of see it right there. And so you can tell which ones are thicker, and then Middle Eastern, and I didn't really get any good pictures, but this one was the thickest. And Then we, of course, went and saw all the dinosaurs, and that was really cool. And there's a T-Rex, and then there's a picture of me with some weird looking bird swimming. I don't remember what it was, but yeah. And then we went into some butterfly room where the butterflies were all around us, and it was cool. You got to touch butterflies. Anyway, so that is my weekly summary. Sorry I couldn't do more. I spent as much time as I could. I probably spent about 6 hours, and that's not including the paper, which I spent a lot more time on that. So that is my 6-week summary, and I will see you next week.